Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Kenny Cam for Pep Talk UK. It's been a lovely summer and we've got a major announcement where a massive appointment was made in the early hours this morning. Frank Lampard Jr. is now Chelsea manager. He's succeeded Sarri, who left for Juventus. Previously, Frank Lampard's only management experience was a stint at Derby County, where he took them to the threshold of the Premier League, getting to the playoffs and losing unluckily to Aston Villa. For me, as a football fan, it's a great appointment because I think it's good for an English manager to get one of the biggest jobs in English football, if not Europe. Normally, Chelsea have gone through experience. We're talking about managers like Sarri, we're talking about managers like Ancelotti, Mourinho, managers like that. The last time they'd gone for a sort of younger manager was Villas-Boas in 2011. Obviously, that didn't work out, and they went down to Di Matteo. So it's a very massive gamble for Chelsea. But in terms of like the Chelsea faithful, it's a appointment that they kind of been fighting for because they felt that Sarri didn't have any identity with the fans, and I think this is more to do with getting the fans back on side. In terms of Frank's in-tray, Frank's got to contend with the fact that Chelsea have got a transfer embargo. But one thing Frank has got in his favour is that they already signed Pulisic from Borussia Dortmund, who's the American international, is currently starring them in the Gold Cup, and they've just completed the signing of XAVIER for Real Madrid. So in terms of that, he's got a bit of a spine. In terms of like the general layout side, I think Frank's appointment is going to be very good news for players like Loftus-Cheek and Hudson-Odoi, and any up-and-coming player. Obviously, Tammy Abraham's going to be very interesting as well, because there are going to be vacancies. There are places are up for grabs for this season. In terms of the expectations, I understand that Frank asked for assurances from Roman Abramovich in terms of his tenure, a 2-year deal, because obviously you know what happens at Chelsea if results go south. They tend to act very quickly and make instant changes. But I think Frank's argument is that he isn't able to sign players, so he's going to have to pick players from the existing squad and maybe promote a few academy players. So in terms of that, and maybe that's what parts of Frank's negotiations. But it's good news for players like Tomori, he had at Derby, Mason Mount as well. They might get a look in. I also mentioned other players, and he's got experience as well. He's got players like Azpilicueta, he's got David Luiz, and he's got one of the top goalkeepers in Europe, and Arisa Balaga. So, with the exception of centre forwards, Frank's got a very good spine to work with. In terms of expectations, we all know that Liverpool and Man City are the teams to beat. Liverpool are European champions for the 6th time. Man City retain their title narrowly against Liverpool, but again, Man City have bought players like Rodrigo. They also got a very strong squad, and they're after Harry Maguire. Liverpool themselves are very strong. They're looking. I think what Liverpool are going to need is probably an attacking midfielder, but all in all, I think, in my opinion, the top 2 is pretty sewn up. So in terms of what the expectations, I think Frank's looking to consolidate their place in the Champions League. Definitely going to go for a top 4, and maybe, like I said, maybe a run in the Champions League. Obviously, it's going to be hard work because of the fact they haven't got the strongest of squads. But I think, in terms of the appointment, in terms of what Frank's got, I think it's going to be a very good appointment for Chelsea. And I think what Frank's got is he's got the what we call in politics and football a bounce, the Frank bounce, where players are going to, like I said, put in great performances because it's Frank. The crowd are going to be inside. He's got a very tough game against Man United. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Man United, which is a game which I'm going to be looking forward to as a neutral. So, for me, I think the best thing Frank can hope for was probably maybe a top 4 finish, finishing 4th, and maybe winning a cup, which Chelsea tend to do very well. But in terms of that, I think it's a one in the eye for English managers. I think it's about time an English manager got a chance at a big job in Europe. So I'm signing off. Don't forget to put your questions below to anyone at Pep Talk UK, and enjoy this lovely sunny day. Bye.